Welcome to Ethiopia.
Africa rises for standards as the beautiful city of Abuja hosts the chief executive officers of national standardization bodies, NSBs in Africa. Africa, the second largest continent in the world, is no doubt a massive market with great potentials. The immense prosperity that can accrue to the continent may be far-fetched without a seamless inter-African trade. Currently, the volume of trade between African countries is reported to be an insignificant 5%, a reason for the level of poverty, unemployment, and deprivation experienced in the continent. This low figure is largely due to technical barriers of trade occasioned by the issue of standards and quality infrastructure deficit. How can Africa integrate for economic prosperity? How can Africa deal with the technical barriers limiting trade and her economic growth? These are the questions the Africa Organization for Standardization, ARSO, is poised to address. ARSO, an organ of the African Union, AU, was formed in 1977 with its headquarters in Nairobi, Kenya. ARSO's commitment to harmonize standards and break technical barriers to inter-African trade in the continent informed the resolution of the 20th General Assembly of ARSO at Kigali, Rwanda in June 2014, endorsing a proposal for the ARSO President, the Director General, Chief Executive Officer of Standards Organization of Nigeria, Dr. Joseph Odumodu, to convene a forum of the Chief Executive Officers, CEOs of all African standardization bodies to engage them on ARSO standardization programs. This intervention will be an opportunity for the African CEOs to strategize on actualizing the smooth takeoff of the proposed Continental Free Trade Area CFTA by 2017 as a strategy to boost trade within the African continent by at least 25 to 30%.
We expect consumers to pay attention to that and make sure that as much as possible they use that as a guide in their purchases. Don't just buy anything. Buy what has been published by Ghana Standards Board as certified.
Despite this, fake products continue to dominate the market in the country. He encouraged other related regulatory bodies to be proactive in clamping down on products without the necessary certification. On promoting made-in-Ghana goods by ensuring standards, Dr. Mponsa Bediakun identified the importance of exporting more to help stabilize the Ghana cedi.
What is happening now is that we are importing more than we are exporting. So we need to make sure that we comply with standards, and that will help to strengthen our cedi.
He was speaking at the 3rd African Day of Standardization, focusing on promoting sustainable agriculture and food security this year.
To date, we've developed about 32 standards with the relevant stakeholders
regulating food safety. These include what we call the Kenya GAP, i.e. the Kenya Good Agricultural Practices, which incidentally was the first in Africa. Kenya is currently, obviously, in the process of developing more standards through KEPS. So far, we've developed in excess of 7,900 standards, of which we have harmonized 1,200 standards across the East African community. What that basically means is that there are 1,200 standards out there that are common in Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Rwanda, and Burundi. And therefore, any products that meet the specifications of those standards get easy market access to these markets. We've gone further through the common protocols and agreed that we recognize our various standardization marks within the community. And therefore, our S mark is a recognized mark within the community, and any of our products that have an S mark get easy access into these markets.
In Africa, we are projecting to have a continental free trade area by 2017. You heard the managing director, Charles Ongwae, talking about East Africa. When the work started, there was like a dream where countries would accept the certification mark among the 5 states. Now we are moving forward. If we don't move with a good pace, the continental free trade area will make us remain behind. We should move with it. Where one day, being 10 years, being 20 years, we can have an African mark, as we have marks at the level of other continents.
Addis Ababa has a number of museums where visitors can learn a lot about the nation's rich culture and history. This is one of Africa's fastest developing cities. Countless souvenir shops around the city, and in the great central market, or Mercato, you can find crafts, textiles and artifacts from all over the country.
ARSO as the regional standards organisation for the African region. We have 4 criteria for this recognition. The first is that at least 50% of the members of ARSO are ISO members. The second, that ARSO intends relying on and fully supporting international standardisation and the use of international standards wherever possible as a basis for ARSO's own standards work. The third is that there will be reciprocal invitations to each organisation's General Assembly. And the fourth is that ISO is represented and has been represented at these General Assemblies.
Ah